All right, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the Uh, thought I'd talk a little bit about the Joe Elliott thing because I spent a lot of time with these a few years ago. I kind of got back on the forum after just blowing off all things jazz for a little while, and found this thread, and everybody was doing it back then. It was just there were a lot of people involved in doing it. It was a great thread, and I was always jealous that I didn't get in on it really. But I did spend some time with this book, and it's good for what it's good for. And some of the concerns with the mind-numbing aspects of playing these arpeggios with connecting the game this way are absolutely legitimate. And anyway, I thought I would just share some things I found that really helped with the not mind numbing aspects. To me, if it's anything that you're going to really practice, you've got to get it to some kind of level where you can boil things down to something you can do while you watch TV, or you can just pick up the guitar and kind of start playing. And I found a lot of the connecting game stuff when I was new to a lot of these arpeggios and shapes, and just to the idea of connecting arpeggios in position um, to the closest note, was that I had to think so much. It was mentally fatiguing. So after a very long time, I eventually came to this idea that there there are technical aspects of it and there are ear training aspects of it. The most important thing is that it teaches your ears to hear how to resolve chords to each other, and that's real important. You can use that for uh, just working through tunes for the rest of your life. And anyway, it's really good stuff. So, but the other parts are just technical. If you do the exercises the way it talks about, you just begin playing an arpeggio, and wherever you end up randomly in the next chord, resolve to the closest note. And that's cool and all, but if you do it certain ways, you end up cycling through, and each time it's completely different, which long term is a good thing. You want to be able to do that long term. But I don't think the most efficient way in terms of attention span and the efficient way practicing is to have everything be random from the beginning. So, to just work on the technical aspects, what I kind of arrived at was just rhythmically working just various iterations, and that I could do in front of the TV because it's simple enough. So if I have certain rules in place, and I had rules, I had, okay, this time I'm going to do it this way, or I might practice it that way for a few days. So I'm going to play an arpeggio up, and I'm going to resolve up. If I'm ascending, I'm going to go ahead and resolve up. If it's descending, I'm going to resolve down, unless I'm at the upper limit of what I can play on the fretboard in position. So if it's A minor 7, let's see, there's D. So I'm going A minor 7 to D7. So if I have a rule, that's the same. If I play that now, if I loop it's different every time. But until I've really learned where the notes were, it's helpful to just hang on. So just according to my rule. Now, what that allows me to do is just work on the technical aspects, because I didn't have the technical aspects together. So if I loop it a few times, I have to say I'm just going to play that 5 or 6 times, or play it 5 or 6 times well. I can do that with the TV on. I can make it swing. I can really clean it up. Then the next note note is the root. I'm breaking my rule. Now see, that's ear. Later on, you get to where you get things you just like. Like I don't like resolving in the same direction. But in the beginning, it's probably simpler. It's a good way to start. It's the way most people play these. But later, resolving in the other direction, it sounds jazzier. So anyway, I have to fight my ear somewhat to do this. So that's the second iteration from the root. So from the third, that one sounds better. So your ear learns things like that, and it's like, man, I like that, and it just over time you get to where you resolve things a certain way. Let's see, what was that? It's an enclosure. It encloses anyway. It's great. All right, then the fifth. See, that's the seventh resolving to the third, and eventually you learn that one. You're like, I want more of that. It's better. But you don't learn that as quickly if you're randomly cycling through the way you're supposed to in the book. So. So I'm breaking all the rules of the book. But that's a pre-exercise for somebody that can't play it yet, like I was, okay, like I am now. If I really wanted to do this in position and follow these rules, I'd have to work it back up. But that helps me get to the point where then I can just go through and play them in position. From the seventh. From the root. And there are too many common tones. A minor 7 and D7 share 2 notes already. So a lot of them are the same, so I don't know. That's irritating to me. The third. The fifth. I'm just playing pieces of them in the beginning to just get them in my ears and to play them rhythmically. But to me, that sounds like jazz. When you this way of practicing this stuff allows you to kind of not blow off the rhythmic aspect. The technical hurdles in the beginning are the thing that keep you from swinging and playing jazz in a jazz style. I mean, just the more notes you play, the more it's just harder, and you have to kind of hold back on the rhythmic aspect. So So eventually I want to get to play all the notes, you know, that's cool. So 7th, root, I would never resolve it. I'd resolve it up. So anyway, I resolve these things too. You know, you just get to where you do it differently. That was a let's see. I did a direction change. I can't help it. Let's see. But anyway, I'm descending, and you could start on any note and go down, and then just there are only a certain number of iterations if you do it that way, and you kind of learn them all. Yeah, you could do it in front of the TV, and in 2 or 3 days, you'd really have the technical aspect, and then you can just start kind of playing by ear in position over those 2 chords. And I don't know, it really solves a lot of the mind numbing thing. Once you can do it in one position, those are cool, but really the best ones are the direction changes. And then eventually you get to where you just like to hear things resolve. Thirds resolving to sevenths and sevenths resolving to thirds really sound good. You can resolve early and resolve late. You know, that's breaking a rule, but man, that gives you that bebop at the end of the phrase. If you resolve things a beat late or half a beat late. So anyway, you can kind of experiment with some of that stuff once you know technically where the notes are. But it's a technical thing. The simpler you can make it in the beginning, the more you can make it swing, the more it sounds like real music, the more you can play it in front of the TV and things like that. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm probably not going to do, all the stuff with this, but I put so much time into this early on, and I don't, the stuff I learned that I felt like simplified it later. I wish somebody had told me on the front end, because I think people just practice it wrong. I think they just practice it too exercisey and just too boring. Shorter phrases make them swing, and then you can start putting together longer streams of eighth notes. But the technical aspect is the hurdle in the beginning, in my opinion.